The 10th day of September 2022. You're very welcome back to Real True Education, not fake news. We're going to take a look at this case of Enoch Burke, and it's video 47U. Now, all excuse me, all employers are entitled to have certain code of conduct and behaviour from their staff. So if you take a hardware shop, the staff are expected to bring things to the manager's attention, maybe such as defective goods, or if there's a long series of goods returned, to let them know. The staff are expected to treat people courteously, depending on how well they know them. I don't want them to call me Mr. Martin. I want them to call me Howie. Will do for me. But still, they're entitled to due courtesy. And if some person's got out with a big box of maybe Delf or something they're after buying, you'd expect the shopman coming in, if he's around, to open the door and be courteous like that. Basic common sense. Depending on what they're doing. The yardman might be a great man on the forklift, might be able to lift very heavy bags, and when he's out there you don't expect him to do anything, only just do that and have basic speech. So you can't expect people to have social skills way above what they're expected. And in the Gardaí have to act in accordance with the rules. If they have to enforce a court order, they have to enforce it, and it doesn't matter whether they think it's just or not. Same in a hospital, same anywhere else. Basic common sense enters into it. In the case of Mr. Burke, the school brought out a rule which I am, what's the right word, strenuously opposed to, and which I fight every day. Now, I am not a person to discriminate against anyone, children or anybody else, and I accept that all people can't be the same. Some people have different sexual orientations and all that, and I voted yes to the equal marriage referendum. On balance, I voted no to abortion because I do not approve of abortion. Abortion, I think that it's a slaughterhouse, really, in most cases. In some cases, where there are very severe fetal abnormalities and the child will always be nothing much more than a vegetable, then I might ease my opposition in that case. But those are my views, and I know people have different views. I know the country voted on abortion, and so there was a settlement really on that. There was a referendum on it, and that's the people's will. Now, the thing about it is, in Mr. Burke's case, there was a rule in the school, apparently, that you had to use certain pronouns when addressing children. Now, again, it's not well reported, but as I understand it, when he referred to boys, he was expected to say they, or a boy, one individual boy, whoever it was, they, not him. Not him. Now, of course, you can see that that's only a far step, a very close step from away from calling boys her and girls. Now, you can call me her if you wish, but I would strongly advise, if I'm coming out at the pub some night with a few old half ones and a few pints, I'd advise you not to do it. That's all I say. That wouldn't be the right occasion to do it, and if you do, well, you can have the consequences. They who do it can have the consequences. But the thing about it is that this is the rule, and this is the way the state is going. This is a public funded school. It's an Anglican school in Multifarnham. We don't know where this rule came from or who brought it out, that you have to refer to boys in something other than the male him. We don't know. Now, there's a disciplinary hearing on Wednesday, I understand. I think it may have been brought forward. And when the row started, Mr. Burke was told not to come to school, and he could have his pay while he was away pending the disciplinary proceedings. And this placed him in a dilemma because on one half, if he obeyed the rule, there'd be nothing more to it. It probably would never make any headlines. And on the other hand, if he didn't and he came into the school, he caused a lot of problems for the school and everything else. And the school went to the High Court to stop him coming in, pending the outcome. Now, the judge was faced with the position, I think he was Judge Quinn, I think it's a man, not sure, that if he said, no, I'm not hearing this, let the man go back to school, you had a very difficult situation for everybody. And I go back to the point of who made this rule. It might not be the teacher. So I wouldn't mind myself if I was in Mr. Burke's position. And he has the name Enoch. I can't help thinking about Enoch Powell. But he has the name Enoch. But anyway, he was in a bit of an awkward spot if he wanted to highlight his case. On the other hand, the teachers and the principal of the school was also in a kind of a hard part. So I myself would probably go along with the order for a few days. I mean, a few days is not neither here nor there. And everybody makes mistakes. So I understand from the grapevine and some statement issued by a solicitor, I think acting for the school, that there may be a settlement of this. There may be a settlement of this. Way may be found to let the man out on Wednesday. I'm not sure. Maybe it will, and they'll find some compromise. I think he's made his point. I think the fact that I'm making this video on him, he's made his point. It's not easy. Nobody wants to go to work. I think very few people in the world, I'm one of the few that says only a tiny number of people like their jobs. I had to work in a job for years, and it was all right. It was okay, but I had to put up with a lot of hassle. So I wouldn't say I liked it all that well. I don't think anyone likes their job. I don't believe anyone likes it. I don't believe anyone working up in Tara Mines likes their job. And I don't believe many nurses like their job. I think many doctors don't like their job. Imagine if I was a doctor looking at people coming in that won't stop eating too much, won't look after their health, and then they expect me to cure them. I'd get very frustrated. Very few like their jobs. Garth Brooks probably does. I'd say Bob Dylan probably did, and Elvis probably did. But it's only a few. Her Majesty the Queen passed away. Would you take that job if you got it in the morning? I don't think I would. I don't think I would. What good's the money to you? You better just have enough and enjoy it than be stuck with all that old stuff. But it depends on the individual, of course. So nobody likes their job. Can't speak for Mr. Burke, but I can tell you that all the rest of the teachers don't like their job, and no teacher likes their job. No secondary school teacher likes their job. No professor likes their job. New faces every day and having to teach them the same old stuff. The farmer, well, so in the COVID, I have to say, I did enjoy knocking around outside and going about. And the work I take on here doing this, where I give guff and try and abuse our politicians, I must say, I find that a great hobby, and fighting the windmills and making our politicians and the EU and them all eat humble pie, and seeing Putin wiping the floor in them. Like, I don't like to see the people of the Ukraine suffering, but on the other hand, I like to see these idiots getting their wings clipped. So I enjoy that. You need a quarry. You need to hunt. I don't hunt anymore. Well, I don't hunt much with dogs and that. And I do fish a bit, but I don't hunt much. But why not hunt the big villains? That's people. Hunt them down, the creeps that are doing this to us and who will destroy our way of life. Now, so I've said this is better settled for now, but it raises the bigger issue about cultural Marxism and how the Irish state and so much of the Irish government is gone this way with their blasted climate change crap, with them shutting down Money Point and then opening it again, with their old silly electric cars that are not environmentally friendly by any stretch of the imagination, and their dirty old windmills destroying the countryside, and with electricity prices due to go up to something like I read the other day. I think it's 6,000 a year. That'll tighten them, I'm telling you. That'll put them from voting for these creeps. So the thing about it is, what do we do? The school, whoever made the rule that you have to refer to a boy as they, that you have to promote some of these things. And I'm not saying they did. I'm saying that this is what is going on. And what if I have a grandson or a descendant that's a teacher? It's all right for me to shout here, but what about if I were a young man starting off? You're looking for a job as teaching. Look what can be facing you down the line. You can be forced to push this gender nonsense. You can be forced to brag and promote abortion of perfectly healthy babies. You can be forced to recommend it. That's what can be done. You can be forced to advise children to go in and have themselves castrated. Boys, get the doctor out. There are a large body of people, and they're mainly women, in America, in the Democratic Party, and in Irish political life, who would dearly love to see as many of the young men of this country forced into sex change operations before they're 10. That is what the viciousness of these people do. Now, I have long said that the political spectrum is not a bar, it's a round circle like the face of a clock. At 12 o'clock, you have tyranny. You have the left wing coming here, and you have the right wing coming here. Both are tyranny. This is Hitler's type of tyranny, even though he called himself a socialist, and this is the other. North Korea, you have this one. In Cuba, you have this one. Right? Now, in the EU, we're getting tyranny as well, in free societies. But the right where to be is down here at 6 o'clock, where there's no tyranny, where the two ideologies meet. I have made that point. Very few agree with me. That's their problem. Now, do not forget where this viciousness is taking root and where it lies among us. A large portion of our countrymen are going to vote for Sinn Féin in the next election. Sinn Féin craves Castro. It's a cultural Marxist left-wing party. It craves Kim Jong-il. It's climate change, renewables, electric cars, and all this old nonsense. Nuts. It's anti-conventional religion. It is only using the United Ireland logo to get where it wants to be. And you think, and this, it looks from the media, and this is not a big point, thank God, in our republic. The one thing is we only think about people's religion when we have to go to a wedding or a funeral where the church is, and that's one great thing, and that's mostly in my lifetime that happened. But at the same time, the Irish Republic is turning into the nanny state. They forced the Gardaí to arrest people for fishing with their sons with the blasted out COVID crap. I got no vaccine. I never will. I got the COVID twice. It was only an old cod of a dose. It's far worse. I often had a lot worse from a feeding drink and bad porter. That's the way I felt about it. Right, a few older people died. Older people died anyway, and they're still dying. Two golfers wouldn't play golf. They walked across the golf course. They wouldn't play. One of them said he was afraid they said the reason was to save somebody's granny. This is the baloney we have. And don't forget, when I say about Sinn Féin, I am as good an Irishman as you will get. I dream the day of my country being a 32 county free, conservative, decent society. I'm never going to have my wish fulfilled unless there comes something outrageous like a nuclear attack or something like that, in which case I'll be gone anyway, and that is too big a price to pay. The United Ireland that Sinn Féin is going to force. They're going to force the unionist population of Northern Ireland, most of them who do not agree with this baloney. In actual fact, in many ways, I have a lot in common with them. They're going to force them into the Republic. They're going to force their grandchildren who are teachers to teach this baloney. They're going to force them to call boys girls, promote abortion, promote cultural Marxism, praise Castro, talk crap about climate change and other old nonsense. That's what they're going to do. Until we change the Republic to what I'm saying, my advice to our unionist friends is stay to hell away. Keep out. That is a hard thing for me to say. My people were a part of my family, were driven out of Tyrone during the plantation, their lands taken and driven out. Isn't it something that we have been driven in the Republic of Ireland to such a state that those of us who have half a brain have to try and warn Northern Unionists and Northern Nationalists to stay to hell up there. Do not join this decrepit, nanny, blasted, cultural Marxist state. Do not join it. I may have descendants teachers. Northern Unions may have descendants teachers. Most good people are abhorred by this. Now I go back to the point. It's only Mr. Burke's case and the court decision and his imprisonment for contempt of court is only by the way. I'm making no judgment there. But if it brings this to and highlights it, and if the man gets out, and my strong advice to him is do whatever is necessary to get this, to at least get out of prison. I don't want to see a decent person like that there, and I don't want to see the school either, and them sprung into this. People don't want to this try and get it sorted. I would strongly advise the school disciplinary committee to name NAME the person in authority who ordered teachers to do this, to use this type of language and to treat children like this. We want to know the name. John Riley, Paddy McCarthy, George Foreman, whatever he is or she is, Monica Malinsky or whatever it is, name them. Name them. They're the ones who caused this. It's not really the judge, and it's not the school, and it's not the Mr. Burke. It's just the way the thing happened, and I'm glad it did, and it'd be well worth it, and nobody's too hard. A couple of days wouldn't kill anybody. If you're in hospital, you'd be worse. I do hope it's settled. I do advise everyone to try and get it resolved, but we need to know this disciplinary thing must go ahead. Is it a disciplinary offence requiring the sacking of a teacher for some of this, for refusing to refer to a student boy, a little kid, as him? Is it or is it not? That's the real point. And folks, imagine what I'm after saying. I'm after saying, as an Irish nationalist who looked up to Michael Collins, looked up to and suffered, and whose people and ancestors suffered tyranny, to recommend that we can't have a united Ireland. To hell with them bloody Sinn Féiners. They're a crowd of old commies. That's all they are. And Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael are becoming the same. And you have all these out left. It doesn't matter if 10,000 people to one disagree with me. It is not right. It is not right to go down this road. This would disgust anyone gone before. This is not the ethos of the Presbyterians or the Anglican churches or the Christian churches. And it's not the ethos of the Muslim churches. So where the hell is it coming from? That's my view on it, folks. I can only fight. But we need to start getting on to our neighbours. I believe we need to start compiling a register of the people in our community and assess who to vote for and send them a letter. We believe you voted for Fine Gael and you're going to vote again. If you don't denounce them, we'll put you on the register and publish it online so that everyone knows, because I know damn well how every one of my neighbours throughout most of South Monaghan, most of North Meath, most of East Louth, and nearly all of County Cavan. I know every bloody one of them. I know by the head of them how they mark the pencil. And they will not vote for the people that will stop this. They'll not vote for the like of Mahi McGrath. They'll not vote even for Richard Collins or any of these people who are trying to fight this, the 10 rural TDs. Until we do and get these creeps and the like of these Greens to hell off our case, then we needn't be talking. You're going to have more situations where your grandchild or your child wants to be a teacher and is faced with this. And God only knows what they'll come up with in future. God only knows. They'll probably be teaching that once your grandmother gets to be 75, she should be bumped off. That's what they'll probably come out with and save the money of keeping her. They're fit for anything. They are fit for anything. Folks, that's my rant. That's my rant. I know it's a rant. Well, how do you deal with these things? How do you express your opinion without some kind of an excitement? And sure, what's wrong with it? What did Collins do on the cart? He was shouting at the people. He wasn't saying, no, look, we need to do a wee bit of thing here. He said he was doing this. You can see him doing it. There's nothing wrong with a rant, provided it's for the right purpose. Folks, give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We'll see you back for something else. Thank you very much.